I remember being in school, maybe the 6th or 7th grade, and my teacher showed us this movie because instead of teaching us history himself, he decided, well, why not just show them a historically accurate movie, right?
Wrong!
Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am continuing my Heath Ledger movie reviews in tribute, and this time I'm talking about The Patriot. The Patriot is a film that came out in the year 2000. It is directed by Roland Emmerich, and the plot is it's supposed to be a true story where it takes place in the late 1700s during the American Revolutionary War, and Mel Gibson plays this guy Benjamin Martin, who's a farmer. He's the father of 7 kids. He's a widower, and he doesn't want to get involved in this war. He's a peaceful guy. He has a big family to think about, and it's not that he's a coward. He just doesn't want anything to do with this. So, of course, when the British show up on his front porch and threaten his family, take his son, he has no choice. Mel Gibson says, F it! I'm going to run in there, kick some ass, take some names, and win this war! Now, what I think of The Patriot is, I actually think this is a good movie. I do. And there's a lot of reasons why that might sound surprising, or might be various things about this movie that I know some other people don't like. First things first, historical accuracy. I know this is a big controversy with a lot of people. You got some people who hate it. They hate when Hollywood takes an event, a historical, actual event, especially a war in this case, and they dramatize it. And not only dramatize it, but they add in a bunch of stuff that never really happened. Or let's take Mel Gibson's character, Benjamin Martin, who he's not a real character. He's not a real person that existed during this time. He is a combination of maybe 5 or 6 different people blended together, all of their backstories and everything that went on with them, put into one person to create who this character is. And some people hate that. Other people hate how villainous the Tabington character is portrayed, especially if you're from England. I would understand that. But I don't care. I really don't care about historical accuracy or them dramatizing stuff. It's a movie. You got to make things interesting. You got to spice things up and create a specific narrative. You have to do that. Almost every film that's about real people or about a real event has to do that. What can you do? I think Mel Gibson playing this character is really good. I almost forget how great of a movie star Mel Gibson once was. Just he brings that emotion. He brings that likability to him at the beginning, because one would argue that, oh, he doesn't want to stand up for his country and fight this war and do this and that. But I get where he's coming from, and he just comes off as a likable guy with his kids. You see certain scenes with him and his sons especially. And Heath Ledger, the guy that I'm watching this movie for, he plays his oldest son, Gabriel, and I think Heath Ledger was great in this movie. It's even more interesting because I was reading how after 10 Things I Hate About You, he was hell-bent on not doing another teen comedy, romantic comedy. Like, he didn't want to just do the same movies over and over again. He wanted something different. He wanted something important to do. So he turned down so many movies, waited for the right project to come along. He was struggling with money, and he said, if I don't get another movie soon, I'm going to have to go back to Australia. And he auditioned hard to get this part of Mel Gibson's son. He beat out the likes of Joshua Jackson, which I know sounds funny now because you don't really see that guy anywhere anymore. But at the time, he was out there. Elijah Wood, Jake Gyllenhaal, who probably would have been good, and Ryan Phillippe. So he obviously had something, brought something to this role. Once stuff hits the fan and he feels guilty about what happens to one of his brothers, and he wants to get in there. He's not afraid to die. He just wants to stand up for what he thinks is right. I like that we get so much of his character, meeting this girl, falling in love with her, marrying her, getting her pregnant. So much stuff in this movie is hard to watch. You see like really horrific things happen to these characters. Burning church scene for one. And even the battle scenes when people get shot or stabbed. It's bloody. This is a hard R, and that's surprising to hear because it's directed by Roland Emmerich, who I don't really care for as a director. I think a lot of his movies are big Hollywoody special effects and hokey and jokey and not really taken seriously. Still to this day, I think he makes movies like that. So to see him make a film that sure has some lighthearted moments, some, very little, but then go so dark and so brutal with these killings and the violence, and I'm not sitting here complaining about it. I was actually refreshed to see a director like this go for it. The villain, like I said, Tavington, is played by Jason Isaacs, who is just one of the scummiest human beings you'll ever see. He's evil. He's pure evil. He does some heinous things, and I know some people from England resent the fact that this character is presented the way that he is. I'm just watching this as a movie, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Other cast members in the movie: Chris Cooper, Tom Wilkinson, who plays the general on the British side. Of course, he always plays a villain, I feel like. Donald Logue, randomly in this movie as one of the soldiers. And one of Mel Gibson's sons, like the youngest son, is played by Logan Lerman. The epic war battles, like I said, are shot really well. Some nice suspense to them, especially the last battle. Like, all of it's in slow motion, and it's so for the tension, so for the dramatic effect. You might say it's overly dramatic, but I was into it. And the score is by John Williams, who, it's so weird. I know he does, obviously John Williams doesn't just do big blockbustery movies, or doesn't, but this is just a regular score from him. Like, it's a straightforward, not too memorable, but not bad, obviously. It's a little long. It's almost 3 hours long, and that's very long. And sometimes when I watch a long movie, I get sort of restless, and I just, sitting there for that long is very long. Let me know in the comments below if you too have seen The Patriot. What do you think of it? Do you hate how historically inaccurate it is? Does it bother you to go back and rewatch a Mel Gibson movie? Because I was fine with it. Do you like Heath Ledger in the film? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Yeah, it's in the building. It's in the building. Yo, okay. Yo, it's butane. I never give up, in God we trust, and it's a must that I won't